angels left their first estate to cohabitate with women in the days before the flood. And one of the things that they did was they taught mankind enchantments and root cuttings, this dream-related sorcery, the kind of things that you associate or connotate with classical witchcraft.
In every civilization, in every ancient culture, they have practiced divination. In every country and nation, humans have tried to reach the other side through meditation. Rituals and incantations, astral projection, altered state communications, some induce hallucinations, distort perceptions, ingesting mushrooms, psilocybin, salvia, ayahuasca, DMT, the cutting of roofs, the pharmacia, sorcery and shamanism, psychics with visions, channeling beings to possess them. They interact through invitation, spirits and demons who are familiar to their victims, entering those who don't resist them through open doorways, connections from other dark dimensions. They fabricate apparitions based on expectation to people open to suggestion, a hocus pocus fascination, presenting false illuminations with one motivation: to present an imitation, an altered explanation, poisonous intoxication. The serpent's venom's like a weapon that can change and mutate to always keep you guessing. 1/3 of the angels fell, good versus evil, heaven and hell. And now we're caught in the battle between the night and the darkness and places unseen. 1/3 of the angels fell, good versus evil, heaven and hell. And now we're caught in the battle between the night and the darkness and places unseen. Since the beginning, their plan never changes, but they adapt to the beliefs of the ages. In every culture and race, see their traces erased, all their origins lost in the mazes of time. All these places aligned with the similar tactics, interactions with mass-based malevolent beings, creeping in with enchantments while seeming benevolent, teaching advancements to end with their origins evil in nature. This dangerous behavior enforced human labor, strung by the fingers, the strings of the puppeteer, pulling the leaders, led by the king of fear. Follow procedure, the spread of their greed, feed sneaky creatures deeper and deeper. Wolves among sheep that make signs of a wonders for wicked, adulterous generations who seek for a secret and reap what they sow as their sorcerers conjure elixirs and spirits who speak through their sages and soothsayers, mystics and wizards and pastors, leaders pour poison down throats of their listeners, twisting through words in their messages, offering counterfeits, magically turning their staffs into serpents, worshipping false gods on purpose. 1/3 of the angels fell, good versus evil, heaven and hell. And now we're caught in the battle between the night and the darkness and places unseen. 1/3 of the angels fell, good versus evil, heaven and hell. And now we're caught in the battle between the night and the darkness and places unseen.
There was an effort made by the dark forces to take the initiative to contact mankind and to introduce them and teach them these techniques.
Dawkins told the crowd they should ridicule religious people. Let me quote him. He says, "Mock them, ridicule them in public. Their beliefs are insane, therefore they should be ridiculed with contempt."
Years in the future, this may serve as a reminder, like a verbal time capsule, audio treasure meant for the minds that denied in the past, ignoring the signs every time that we ask you to listen. You dismissed us consistently, and now you're living out prophecy, first-hand witness to the times and the miseries, no denying all the signs and conspiracies. Report a hard time and urged you to listen, implored you to think, to make the right decision. Laughing aside, you just played the devil's advocate. Every time you heard the truth, you turned the opposite. Rejected anything that's turned against your politics. Convince yourself that you were good by thinking positive. Always the optimist. Are you still confident that ignorance is bliss during the apocalypse? Smack dab in the middle of the storyline. Slap in your face. Shift in your paradigm. Switching your mind for the memories you blocked out. Information that you knew was true but locked out. Conversations that you wish could be repeated. Warning calls that you wish you would have heeded. Thought all those Christians were living in denial. denial, but now you do anything to understand the Bible. Every day triggers on memories, reminders, remaining remnants remembered by survivors, pieced together from the fragments of a quagmire. Lost souls gathered hungry around a campfire, brought together through the common recollections, torn apart by the warnings that they questioned. Looking back, they knew this day was unavoidable. They hated God, embracing sin whenever possible. Gave control to everything they knew was evil. Sold their souls and now they're living like medieval. A whole world without laws or morality, living in poverty and running from reality. I had a picture of missed opportunities, all the what ifs and lost possibilities. Cities burn like a giant crematorium, mountaintops collapse like an accordion. Wars are rumbling, governments crumbling, storm clouds gather around, hear the thundering. Smack dab in the middle of the storyline, slap in your face, shift in your paradigm. Search in your mind for the memories you blocked out, the information that you knew was true but locked out, conversations that you wish could be repeated, warning calls that you wish you would have heeded. Thought all those Christians were living in denial, but now you do anything to understand the Bible. Anarchy reigns in the streets, in the alleyways, no escape from the pain in the end of days. Left alone with no internet or telephone, cities are graveyards, crumbling catacombs. Apocalyptic wickedness and pestilence, epidemics and afflictions, malevolence. No protection, no government or military, just infections and really full cemeteries. Catastrophes on another level biblical, miserable when the locust swarm is visible. Turn and run from the state, you knew the outcome. Acting dumb and ignorant and asking how come. A social justice warrior with your politics, emotional, convince yourself with willing ignorance. Way too late, no excuse can ever save face, and now you're living in a world without a safe space. Smack dab in the middle of the storyline, slap in your face, shift in your paradigm. Search in your mind for the memories you blocked out, the information that you knew was true but locked out, conversations that you wish could be repeated, warning calls that you wish you would have heeded. Thought all those Christians
we sleep, the alarms going off, beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. All realities made up by the elite.
They live, we sleep, the alarm's going off, beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. All realities made up by the elite. They live, we sleep, the alarm's going off, beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. All realities made up by the elite. I came here to kick some ass just like Roddy Piper. These motherfuckers that walk among us, they got me hyper. But don't be chewing that bubble gum, it's got aspartame. It's a chemical directly targeted at your brain, just like the fluoride that they put in the water supply, and all the geoengineering we got in the sky. I'm trying to tell you, and I hope that you're hearing me clearly, this ain't no bullshit speculation conspiracy theory. They live and they're controlling every move you make, from the apartment that you live in to the juice you drink. They give you television to help you ignore this prison while feeding you genetically modified organisms. They want us like the Walking Dead, just obey and consume. Don't worry about anything, keep awaiting your doom. To all my warriors out there, this is indeed my call. It's time to put a fucking end to this elite cabal. They live, we sleep, the alarm's going off, beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our realities made up by the elite. They live, we sleep, the alarm's going off, beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our realities made up by the elite.
When they try to prove their spinning ball Earth, it's remarkable. All their arguments are absolutely fucking farcical. It's clearly been shown your problems aren't resolvable. Your theory has been blown into tiny little particles. The pharmacological drugs they got the masses on precludes them from putting their Roddy Piper glasses on. And even when they do, they're unable to gaze too straight, cause for most of them it's way too late for them to see past their conditioning. They will not be listening to anything outside their paradigm imprisonment. They are ensconced in a nonsensical certitude, brainwashed by devils to revel in their servitude. It's idiocracy, pure hypocrisy. Waking these dummies up, it used to mean a lot to me. But nowadays I wanna tip their canoes, and as they drown, tell them this is what you get when you snooze.
They live, we sleep, the alarm's going off, beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our realities made up by the elite. They live, we sleep, the alarm's going off, beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our whole reality's made up by the elites.
We sleep, the alarms go off, beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our whole reality's made up by the elite. Yeah, yeah. We sleep, the alarms go off, beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our whole reality's made up by the elite.
All right, what is going on, everyone? Steve J and Mo. I got the gang with me here.
What's up?
What's happening, guys? What's going on?
Not much. Beep beep.
Beep beep. The alarm's going off, man.
Beep, beep.
Freaking crazy. But so yeah, what's happening, guys? It's a nice dreary day out here in Massachusetts, more like England, not New England, but
Yeah, it's the same here. We're having rain and thunderstorms all day.
yeah.
Well, you guys realize it's all climate change. You know, they're actually saying they're supposed to get snow in Hawaii this weekend.
Really, I've been having 75-degree weather here in fucking December.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
Everything's flipped.
Yeah.
Imagine
well,
that.
the thing is, the other night here, it may have been like 45 degrees, but the sky was bright pink and it was flashing like lightning or something. It was rather bizarre. I didn't get much footage of that because it just happened so quick and sudden and out of nowhere. But yeah, man, the sky's crazy. The weather's off. They're gonna call it climate change, but I think we're just seeing the effects of Operation Solar Shield and whatnot. You know.
Yep. Paul's saying they got snow in Hawaii. So there you go.
That's
There it
nuts.
Has that ever happened? I don't even know.
I don't know. Has it ever happened? I never
No.
heard of it.
No, but you probably look back and they'll have like several of recordings
yeah.
of it, even though no one's ever heard of it. You know, that's how that works.
Yeah.
I heard that. I'm gonna jump in the chat for a minute, guys, and say what's up to these awesome people. We got like 50 people on 3 different streams, so that's cool.
Yeah, I
Who's
even got
there?
confused what channel you were going to be on, but cool.
Oh, that's okay, man. That's okay. Who we got? We got Brian, Austin, Marika.
Oh, quick commercial. I'm going to be with Brian later this evening. He's doing a Mandela Effect show, and he mistakenly invited me, but it's too late. No refund. No
That's awesome.
Well,
That
good
is
stuff.
awesome.
Everyone, look out for that. Definitely throw that link in the chat a couple times. Share that around. Get some.
I just want to say, the Mandela effect and everything that's happened since the official date of 2012. I don't know how people at this point can't see that this is a spiritual battle and that, if anything at all, the Mandela effect is showing us that the nature of our reality is not what we thought it was. If there's one takeaway from the Mandela effect, that's it. And that proves right there that clearly we've entered into the middle of a spiritual battle taking place. And here we find ourselves right in the middle of it. And it's all about us. We are the center of everything, and our souls are what is at stake right now. People need to realize that this physical reality is not the end all and be all of our existence. Our energy transfers out of this body once this body deteriorates and dies off like everything else in this reality, because that's what this reality does. It grows things, it lives for a little bit, and then those things die off and decay and go right back into the system here. Our souls go back to source and we come back out. Whatever source is, God, the creator, Jesus, all that stuff. We are part of the creator. So we are co-creators, and we have been completely disconnected from co-creating here in this reality. And we were never told what this reality actually is. We've been under lies and deception since day one, exactly the way they want it. I'm sorry.
No,
And you know what? Can I just add a little ending tale to that? Is that that's why, if you look scripturally, the reason I believe, because people, if they had a flaw, they weren't allowed to go into a temple of God because they would die. It wasn't because God hated the disabled. They just, if they had a flaw and you try to put an unpure energy with another one, it doesn't work. And so you had to be completely cleansed in a way in order to get into those temples. And I feel it's the same way. So the reason, once our eyes are opened and we see the world differently, we need to work at cleansing ourselves. And if you want to do that through scripture, or you want to do that through a belief in Jesus or through God, however you get there, but you need to start cleansing yourself, I believe, because when we get to that final transformation that you're talking about, Jen, you can't get through.
Yeah.
If you've got uncleanness on you. It's not that God hates you. He's trying to warn us that you can't make it. You need to get cleansed to get out, is the way I see that. Or I'm high.
Yeah. No, you're good, man. And it's funny because I was just talking about something like this with someone, and it's something that you and I often talk about too, Ceiling Fan, is all the obstacles that we go through. It's not like God, laughing at us, and maybe it's the devil laughing. Who knows? That's besides the point. But they're all put in our way to strengthen us and give us a lesson to learn and something to, learn and live upon. And like I've always thought, we're put here for X amount of reasons, honestly. But the main reason I think we're here is to experience and learn stuff and things that we can't experience in heaven, because we all know that there's probably no sorrow, no hardship, no tears in heaven. You know what I'm saying? So, and when we're down here and we find ourselves experiencing situations that bring up emotions like that day to day, so it's fascinating, actually.
It is fascinating because our emotions, God gave us emotions and tears for a reason, so we can experience it. Yes. And our body can release it as well. I feel like I'm going to cry right now. I just had a really intense conversation with my sister, and we're getting to that point where it's sister against sister or mother against son, stuff like that.
It's the split.
She doesn't see what's going on, and she just sees me as putting her down or whatever, however she's taking it, when I'm actually just showing her the truth of the matter. Say, like for Christmas, for example. Well, I celebrate Christmas and have a tree up because I put presents and I like to celebrate with my family. But, when I show her the true meaning of it and its origins and where it comes from and why people do this stuff, or why they don't even know why they don't do it. They're just born into it and they do it every year. Well, it's tradition. And they don't want to hear that. And then it's just like, and then you get into the whole jab thing and it's just like a whole nother level. And my sister and I used to be super close, and I could feel, I'm trying not to let it happen, but I'm still trying to I have to realize this is the great delusion. And I want to talk about this with you guys. God sent this strong delusion because they did not love the truth. And that means no matter what I do, I can't break that delusion. It's from God. How can I break it? You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say, it's, I feel like a lot of the people that aren't getting it, whether they're close to you, related to you or not, they're not supposed to get it for a reason, whether maybe the oil lamp situation didn't happen yet, Richard. Maybe it did, and if it did, maybe they were the ones that had the oil lamps the first time, and they're just here to set us off, just part of the grandest of delusions, trying to throw us off, keep us off our journey. Because when you're thinking about that, Jen, you're not focused on the next step. And it's not just you, it's me, it's Richard, it's everyone in the chat that deals with something like that, the family member or the co-worker or someone they care about, trying to get them to see what we see, and maybe their role is just to not see it, but it's part of our greater test, whether that means they're an NPC, I don't know, but maybe, optimistically thinking, maybe that they were the ones who had the oil, right, Richard? Do you follow me there?
Yeah, I actually think it could be both or combination or everything and all at once, because
that's how God works, man.
Right. So this is the way I see it. So like I said, this cleansing that we have to do. So if you're at the end in the book, it talks about in the end, you can only save yourself. That's it. Yeah. Only yourself. Even he talks about, like, who is it? Noah and some of these other great men that came before us. In the end, they could only save themselves. And what that means is cleansing yourself to learn how to save yourself. But then, in this video that I'm like a mental patient, been sharing with everyone because it really resonated with me. we need to stand out as a beacon of light, as that candle in the wind, whatever you want to call it. We need to because we're showing the world or the people around us how it is to be like we're trying to be. And even though we can't talk to them anymore, Jen, because the same thing in my family, and I remember reading it in scripture, it's going to say families turn against each other. And I was like, well, that's never happened in my family, so that's not going to happen to me. And currently there's, a few members that don't talk to me. And so it's like, it happens. And throughout the community right now, there's marriages that are breaking up over this. It's heartbreaking. It's
the community's
terrible.
Breaking up, bro.
Right. And so it's like, it was scripturally written. That's why I think it's fascinating that you don't want to look at the book, some people, but whatever. It was written about this is going to happen. Now we're experiencing it. And like you said, God says we can't talk to them anymore. And this video that I just watched, he talks about in the day of Ezekiel, and he sent Ezekiel to tell everyone shit's about to go down, and they weren't listening to him. And eventually they made it so he couldn't talk. So if Ezekiel just did like picture boxes, he built like a little pretend city and showed God's wrath and what's going to happen. And people walk by and just look at it. It went down to pictures at that point because people were no longer listening. He figured maybe they'll look at it. And so it compares to what we're living in right now. We can have all the facts and figures on our side. We can have as much documentation as we want to show them. But if they're complacent, which is what we're fighting now, they don't care. And so they're not listening. And so now it comes down to pictures, and we have to show them how to live.
And also, I'd like to mention that I said at the beginning of this Mandela effect thing, it seems like there's a war on truth. Now, Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. And, people with this new meme that's going around the last few years, there's my truth and there's your truth. There is no my truth and your truth. There's only the truth. Truth is objective, not subjective. And objective truth has left the building, it would seem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely has. Here's something real quick I just wanted to bring up. This is governor of my state. The passport program could be coming soon, says the governor. That was on the 30th of this month. And it's going to be digital. I told you guys this was coming. They were only going to let the paper passports roll around for so long. Proof of vaccination would be available on a QR code on an individual's cell phone. On a cell phone. That's digital.
That's just like in the movie Songbird. They were using their cell phones for scanning and everything.
Exactly. Look at this. Close to 19,000. COVID. Exactly. Interesting. I just saw that the other day, and I was like, wow. Like, here we go. Like, it's one thing to have the passport mandate, which, isn't that big of a deal. But QR code, digital, that's a red flag. We told you guys this was going to come.
Yeah. Wait till you have to show your QR code in front of a door in a store that you open to get your drinks out of. Well, you won't be able to unlock that door and go in and get your drinks unless you scan your code or scan yourself somehow, because that's the next step. Once they get you used to the QR code, then the tech goes in you and stuff. They do these in increments, okay? And maybe it might not seem like it's right this second it's happening, but it's in line with everything that's coming down the pipe. It's just that they have to introduce it in these little increments to get people used to it.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, man.
I covered something. There's a video I'd like to, if you could, I could screen share real quick. I covered this last night or Friday night, and it's a dude that's talking about exactly what you're saying, to where you can't even open in the grocery store. These doors now where the food is. Have you seen this, Steve?
Let me see it.
It's supposed to be in Walgreens, I think, and I'm going to go check my Walgreens out to see if this is down in my Walgreens. But yeah, very compelling.
Can you see it?
You're there, man.
Okay, and then I think you have audio.
Check this out.
Can you hear me? The audio?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know. Last year, about
you turn it up a tad,
and how they were changing the doors.
Bottom left.
When you opened it, it was like a computer on the outside, like they show at the
bottom left
refrigerators that they sell now.
There you go.
Kind of seeing it's like a computer generated photo, and they were doing that at grocery stores. Well, check out what this guy. I believe this guy's in California. Take a look at this.
Walgreens. So they look like normal shelves, but they're not normal shelves. Every single one of them has infrared scanning sensors right here for your forehead, right? The mark of the beast on your right hand or your forehead. Speak to it. It sees you. Seek to wave. They're made out of super thick metal. If you don't have the mark later on, you won't be able to buy or sell unless you scan your hand on this. Then it's going to open for you. Then it's going to let you get whatever you need. But without the mark of the beast, you won't be able to use these in the future. These lock. Right now, they're not locked, but they do lock. And they're made out of super thick metal with glass. You can't even break through them to get food.
Dude, it's probably bulletproof.
He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on the right hand of their forehead, so that nobody could buy or sell unless they have the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of his name.
Imagine that.
Right hand, forehead. And it's going to be like this everywhere. And this is all just the beginning. Certificate of vaccine ID. COVID, you won't be able to buy or sell unless you can prove that you're fully vaccinated. They're going to collapse the economies and then bring in digital currency. The stage is set.
What do you think?
Boom, baby.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So right now they'll start with the phone, and then they'll work their way to the digital ID just from your fingerprints, your retinas, or just an implant. You can have it there or there. And you know, we were just watching when you take a flight for the last few years, anyways. They had these boxes over off to the one side, and you could like have a fast pass, which would get you through security quicker. And my wife and I always commented like, "Wow, one of these days maybe we should do it." But when I look at them now, they've converted to this thing where people literally walk up and put their face in it, to be scanned to get on a plane. And so it's like they're doing it everywhere, right?
Yeah,
We're
they're
going to have
getting
this.
people used to it, getting them ready and mentally okay with it. Conditioned to comply.
That's what that's the old their old method, you know, condition. And you have this hit piece here from The Economist in 1988, 33 years to COVID-19, by the way. Get ready for a world currency. And what do we have here? You have the dollar, all these other types of paper currency being burned by the Phoenix. Very interesting. And it says 2018 in there, you know, and this is from, like I said, 1988. That's just very interesting because 2018, 2017 was one of the pinnacle years for crypto and Bitcoin and all that. So that was very interesting. And real quick, I don't know if any of you guys know this, but the reason they chose 10 for the Phoenix is, say who? Say 10. Exactly. So,
dude, I never caught that one.
Exactly. Say it. Say what? Say 10. Exactly.
Say 10.
Did you come up with that? That's freaking.
No, I didn't.
Blows my mind.
No, who came up with that? Someone like 5 or 6 years ago. Richard Carlberg. I don't know his name. Some British guy, smart guy
named Richard.
But you got you got the Say 10 Phoenix in 2018. Always broke down to 9/11. So always just very interesting, I thought. And it just brings me to other Economist covers. You know, I'm sure we covered this one a couple of weeks ago, but we can look at it.
This one constantly fascinates me
because this is from 2017, and it seems like most of these have played out, except for maybe the Wheel of Fortune, because I'm not quite sure what's happening there, and the Star. I think we've seen the Star. The Star is making itself known, but they're spraying barium, strontium, aluminum, whatever, you know, just trying to help us not see that. But let's you guys want to talk about this? You want to talk about the tower and what that could be, what that's representing with the maybe like Middle Eastern Chinese-ish flag on the left, and you have Jesus on the cross to the right with lightning coming down, striking it. Very interesting.
I just want to mention real quick on the last picture that you had up before we get too far into this.
Yeah.
When you showed that eagle or that phoenix with that thing on his head.
I got it right here.
Yes, that is the
fleur-de-lis.
That's the fleur-de-lis, yes. And I just sent you a picture of it, Steve. If you look up the fleur-de-lis for France, it's that thing. And that why is that on this phoenix head? You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of, breakdowns on this stuff of, what they're showing here and everything.
And usually,
why do the Boy Scouts of America use it? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I've never questioned it, but why?
Exactly.
Why is Boy Scouts of America using a French symbol? But moving on.
No, it's very interesting. You guys
Isn't
are
it
right.
weird?
You're
We
right
never
on
ask
with
these
it.
questions.
It's a a lot of people don't ask questions. You know how many people go through life without asking, like, where did I come from? Why am I here? And what's coming next? Or where am I going? No one.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to ask one of them in a lifetime, but no one sits down and asks like what all three.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah,
they
but how
do,
about
they're in the
this?
chat right now? and
How
good
about
for
that?
them.
Even when you do wonder those questions, if you don't figure out spirituality or faith, you
You'll
won't get
the-
an answer.
yeah,
And
you'll
yet,
get the materialistic generic Walmart answer.
but when you find it, then you get your answers to all that. It might not be the answers you're looking for, but you get an answer, which I've never
So-
had before.
The tower, if you close in on the tower one, if you can zoom in on that, it's got the Christians on the one side and what looks like a flag with the A on it. Maybe that's the atheists on the other side. I don't know, but is that the separation of the wheat and the tares behind the
Well,
tower? I don't know.
It kind of looks like a sickle. It also has some kind of Muslim flair to it, or Russian, Chinese flair. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
that's
then,
why I said like Eastern.
but in the middle, the cross looks more like that one for the hospitals and all that one we keep talking about, doesn't it?
Right.
It's shorter.
Were we talking what?
And then the lightning from
On the
heaven.
tower itself. Yeah, see, it's more
Yeah.
like that Knights Templar one or whatever.
Exactly. And then you have lightning from heaven. Lucifer fell like lightning from heaven. So I'm just making an observation with the lightning there.
No, you're good.
And that could be the Tower of Babel that's being destroyed.
Towers on a hill.
Yeah, the Tower of Babel. That's the main tower in the Bible and stuff. So that could be, and it's not the Twin Towers clearly. So it's the tower, probably Tower of Babel.
And real quick, let's just talk about what this is. People, just in case they don't know, like The Economist. This is what they put on the cover of their January 2017 cover. The first Economist magazine of the year let out, and this is what they choose. They choose tarot cards that have this wacky shit on it. And I really
Let's also not forget that most people in the lifetime never read a single one of The Economist. So all they're using it as a way of getting their message across, like they do with The Simpsons and all that, by making cool covers that everyone discusses, even on mainstream. So yeah, I think that's all it is, because no one's actually reading the articles. Very, like, how many people in the chat have ever read an Economist? You're going to get a very small percent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, this is how because they know no one's going to read this, but they'll see the covers, and this is how they symbolize to the
communicate.
world and the other leaders. Exactly. They communicate. This is what we're doing this year.
Yep.
The next couple of years, Trump's going to take down America. Checkmate happened last year. The world, the banks, all this taken over by an unseen force. That kind of happened,
But see, the rest of the world will just see it as a magazine cover, and you guys are being ridiculous, even though none of them have ever read the magazine.
Right. Even though the Meta, the virtual reality 3D printing microchip fucker, Meta, the magician, Meta, it's right there, It's all
And the
good.
Infinity
Even the
sign,
hermit, that kind of refers to last year. People were trying to protest all around the world, but you had whoever this guy is stopping it all, whatever, talking to the moon that's half black. It's just very.
What do you get with
interesting
the?
stuff.
What do you get with the one next to it? The world. To me, what I see is the banks and like Babylon control all of the information that we'll ever get. Is that what that's saying?
I just see like the world stopped, to some unseen force that they recognize as the sun,
I see.
The white
and
sun.
maybe it took its form in the wave of whatever, the vid, Death is kind of self-explanatory, but we really haven't seen much of that. It's just hearsay,
Right.
which is I mean, it's still real. The media says it, it must be real.
And people are dying from this ridiculousness. So yeah, real people are dying.
So the Wheel of Fortune, could that mean like your karmic wheel, what comes around goes around, or they're have us in this constant, go around of, never breaking the cycle, never breaking the matrix, just staying in the right left paradigm, constantly going around and around in a circle.
It's interesting. Looks like you have like German, Italian, maybe, and some other.
Well, what I see is like a Hillary person, and that's America, and then you've got some, other two countries, and voting boxes with X's. It doesn't really matter.
Oh,
you got lightning.
So that happened.
Right? You got lightning touching the wheel, and the sun is on the outside of it. So to me, I read something just the other day, and the guy said something like, anything that goes in cycles has never been good in my life. And they've always tried to push that karma cycle that, well, don't worry, if you screw up, you'll be back. We don't know that. So why screw up now thinking you'll come back and try to do it again?
Who wants to come back?
Exactly. So that's what I see. This is this wheel of this endless nightmare that Satan's touching with the electricity. That's the way I see that wheel, and no bueno.
Yeah, no bueno.
What do you think, Steve?
Just man, I could easily see that, dude. I just think it's very interesting. I did not notice the ballots down here with the X's, so I would been kind of fascinated upon that because that happened, Yeah.
Well, going back to death and pestilence there, and these bugs with these stingers that could, jab you up with the stinger,
Very interesting. We saw that Bill Gates video last year.
And when all the jabs went out to be delivered, they went out on airplanes to be delivered all around the world. So, it's kind of like the stingers were in the air, and they're coming to sting you any minute. But, I don't know. How
about this one from last year? Or not last year. Well, yeah, technically last year. Last March. In April, when everything
it was 2019, right?
It actually says everybody is under control, meaning you are under the control mechanism, and that's where they want to keep you under it. They want you to understand.
You know why that magazine?
How could you make a cover like this and people not understand?
But you know why it's incorrect? Because I've actually seen that only the dog doesn't have a mask.
Yeah.
Have you seen these idiots in the dog park? They walk around with masks and their dogs don't have them on. And you can give it to your dog. There's deer that get it now. And hippos. Hippos just got it at a zoo. It's really
people
sad.
Are stuck on stupid. It's like a record that's skipping over and over again.
Just very interesting, I thought, There's another one I want to check out. Oh, it's actually this one. When's this from? Let me see.
You got to admit, it reminds you of Idiocracy. How stupid the people were in that movie.
Or July of this year. I'm sorry, but
yeah, but we passed Idiocracy about 2 years ago, Jen.
Yeah.
Like that movie, they look at us and go, "Wow, what's wrong with those people?"
Look at this. They got like a wheel, whatever you call it. Whatever this, a slot machine.
Oh, look at the dollar sign. They messed up.
There's nothing good in there that you would want.
The dollar sign's messed up. Where's Brian?
You're right, dude. It's Mandela effect. Brian needs to capture this right now.
Yeah, get over here, Brian.
Screen capture.
Get your own timestamp, Brian. It's right there.
You do on The Economist magazine.
Very interesting.
Okay, so the clock says we're at 12 o'clock hour.
No, almost.
Just about.
Almost 12.
Well, they say 2 minutes to midnight. That's what they usually say.
Literally.
And the asteroid's about to hit the Earth.
And then the nuclear bomb. We got the virus behind the dude with his gas
mask.
We got the solar ejection. We got a volcano, of course. Got to have that. That's La Palma.
Why are we afraid of pigs?
Coronavirus.
No pork for you.
Oh, swine flu. There we go.
Yeah, swine flu.
Well, if you remember Event 201, their deadly virus came from pigs, but that's okay. Yeah, but over here you got video call, solar, Joe Biden, nuclear.
Look, they got
the jab doesn't look so good though. The green, I'm all set.
Yeah, I'm all
That's
set.
next. That's the next one.
Yeah,
your baby with the mask on.
Is Fortnite an Olympic sport? I don't think so. Very interesting.
Fortnite just means 2 weeks. That's all it means. Fortnite. That was the way they said 2 weeks. back in the day, apparently.
That's how they still say it in England.
But they no longer say, what was it, forefathers. That they stopped.
No, they do not. And what is it with the whole world having a constitution and all this freedom? Like we thought we were the only country that have it. You hear Australians, you hear French people, you hear Italians, you talk all these people, right? Oh, our independence and our rights, and it says in our Bill of Rights. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought we were the only one that had all this. Apparently, everybody does.
And none of them work. It's like someone handed us a flashlight with no batteries. Here you go.
Yeah, good luck with that.
All right. This is this is kind of on a whole nother topic here, but this is apparently this was the Boston. We went over this a long time ago, Jen, but it just got brought up again the other day to me. This is the Boston courthouse. The State House, which still stands to the day in 1812. Or 1811, I believe. What the
probably took them a year to build it.
It literally did. I looked it all
got
up.
potholes older than whatever, and I can't even get people out here to fix those. But they can bust out a building in the early 1800s in a year, no problem.
Yeah, but like they're busting this out in 98 or something like that. But 1811, 1812, this is what's going on. Like, what's this wall?
Let's build our huge tower on this sloping hill over here.
Right.
That's
Surely this isn't still in Boston, Surely.
It is. I think Ray went to see it, didn't he?
This thing?
No, I don't know. He went to see
Surely
something that looks similar to that up on a hill.
Interesting. I've been over here. It's nothing like that down there. It kind of starts up at this is on the top of the hill now, and it goes all the way down into the valley, to the park. Yeah. I'm gonna go up.
Nothing in that photo makes sense.
Nothing.
Like, who built those buildings with those horse and buggies, and why did they build that thing on that obvious landslided mountain? Why would you build anything on? Like, none of it makes any sense to me. And there's like 10 people. Why did you build such a giant building for your post office? None of it makes any sense.
And this up here, Jen's 100% gold. Here, I'll bring it up real quick.
It hurts my brain to look at that.
It does, ceiling fan. I agree. The people, even today, the people don't match the pictures. If you show people in Grand Central Station, they look like little tiny ants in that building. Come on.
Let's take all the resources in like 6 towns and every working man that could possibly, and some children that can swing a hammer and shovel, and let's build these monolith structures. For what?
We got the kids baking bricks all day long.
In Australia, it was a bunch of prisoners that did it. Sure. Okay. That makes sense.
Wow, Steve. See, I think all the domes were gold and had gold tech on. They just took all this crap down.
That's a cool picture.
It was.
And what's the point of having the gold up there if your shit don't work? Because gold is part of the component. It's just not for aesthetics. Wow.
This is the Hartford in Connecticut, their state house.
Look at that. Wow.
I checked this out. It's an astonishing building.
Look at those star things in the windows. We've covered those in some of the melted building things. They look very similar to those shapes. And
they're like the 8-pointed star.
Yeah.
It's a resonant frequency that they're doing with this. A resonant frequency with this component. And this looks very much like the train terminal in Mumbai, India.
Look at this, Jen. This is
it's a great. Yeah, you take that, put that down in the cemetery, and there you go. It's just exactly the same.
Isn't it? It's crazy. 1812. The year I suspect things went down, and kind of looks like it. Sky.
So here's what I'm thinking. Let me tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that the X factor of it. Now, I don't know for sure. I'm hypothesizing that the X factor happened around the late 1600s or maybe the mid 1700s. And then there's a break where everything's got to settle down. People got to regroup, maybe make some more babies, a few generations, go out, clean up, assess the situation, get rid of crap, bring people in after you get a few more generations. There had to be, I think around 1811, 1820 something is when they started repopulating. Like you see the orphan trains and stuff like that. But I think the X factor may have happened more like late 1600s, early 1700s, where you have a certain amount of time there where there was nothing going on. Maybe that's the Dark Ages. I don't know. I'm just saying. But when you see these towns, they're already cleaned up. They already have pavements. They've already covered the windows on slants to certain parts and stuff. They had to have removed all the gold and all the crap that was in the upper floors of all these buildings and ensure that nobody could get down any further into these buildings. Which that would have took a lot of people and a lot of work. I'm just saying. And they would have had dirigibles and airships to get around to these locations because most of it would be impassable from the X Factor event. That's just the way I kind of see it, that the repopulation, introducing people back into these cities with a new his story attached to it, is maybe around the 1811, kind of into the 1820s is when that started. I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, I'm liking your ideas there. And we're in the beginning process where they're taking down the statues that we grew up with so they can insert the new ones after the new X Factor, whatever they want to bring along. And so
and again, remember what we were saying, Ceiling Fam? When all the cities were all vacant, they were showing London, New York, California, France, Paris, nobody in the streets. This is when they could have been taking all those pictures that they're going to turn into black and white photos. And maybe 50, 100 years from now, people will be looking at it like we are looking at it now with the old world stuff.
Boom, baby.
Boom, baby.
I like it. I'm looking for a photo. Of course, Twitter, it disappeared. If I could find it, I'll screenshot it and send it to you, see. But it was basically someone showed one of these old buildings like we all talk about, and they had an old postcard that it had one less Roman letter, the M, than it has currently. Have you seen that one?
Yes,
I just saw it.
I have it right here.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because that right there goes in that 1,000 years that's missing, you know? It made me think of it.
Where did everybody come from? There was pockets of survival that if the short season is upon us and the short season started when people started repopulating, whoever survived after the X Factor event, guys, was part of the Lucifer's short season. His minions, you might say, right? This is how they piggyback the event and come out on top, and they are the rulers over us now, and know where everything's at and got the gold down and everything. But there was clearly places to go and pockets of survival, or we would have no life left whatsoever.
Right. There'd be no one for Satan to deceive if there wasn't any of God's children left. What's the point?
Needs us. Exactly. He needs people.
It always bothered me. It's like, okay, Jesus came back and wrapped everything up. Why are we letting him out again in 1,000 years? And then it dawned on me, the same thing, that there was some of us that didn't get it. And this is, because the one thing God is more than anything, he's forgiving. And thank God for that, literally, because if he wasn't, we're all screwed. And so that's why we have to learn how to, it's not easy, but we have to be able to forgive and not hate people, even if we hate the deeds that they do. And we pray for them that they'll figure their stuff out, because it's not for us to do judgment, because God does that. But yeah.
So, Steve, go back to what that was saying again. I'm listening and I'm trying to listen and read at the same time. It says, mudslide covers this tank and seems to be turned into stone in only a few short years. Now Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
I'll have to show you guys. I'll take a picture of it. We have a mound of dirt that we dug out when I built this shed. And over the course of time, it's now growing all kinds of vegetation on it. So eventually you wouldn't even know that there was a mountain of dirt under it. It's just looks like a bunch of plants now.
And this reminds me of Equilibrium. In the movie Equilibrium, they have to dose themselves at least 3-4 times a day, every day, to suppress God, to suppress their feelings.
I like this one, Steve. I like this one. This guy was funny, whoever came up with this.
Yeah.
You gotta laugh,
And that thing that Jeremy showed where the words, convert to media control. This Delta Omicron, whatever the heck it is. Omni meaning omnipresent. He wants to be omnipresent like the Most High.
He wants the Omni crown,
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And he can't get it unless he does this.
Yeah, fuck you, Satan. Look, take your earphones off for a second. I'm about to blast Satan's ass. Fuck off, Satan.
Apparently, this is a movie poster from 1963.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No, I've seen that. They've talked about this. And it's some mutant thing that comes from space and all this
And
stuff.
it's in their hand. Look, is it something in their hand? Dude, this is nuts. I never saw that before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. Shit's fucking crazy, bro.
Nothing new under the sun.
Right?
Not these days.
In case anyone's asking, I'm eating sunflower seeds.
Oh, there you got some good stuff going on there.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
I saw the same feed this morning, Steve. This is great.
So are they telling you must be a moron if you believe this shit?
There's another one that they take Omicron and they added something to it and it equals like media and stuff too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. If you take Delta and Omicron and remix the letters and cancel them out as you go along. Jeremy showed this. It becomes up media control.
Nothing to see there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, check this out. Let me freaked out a little bit.
Oh, and you saw the thing I sent you, Steve, with the God code. I think I sent it to you, which explains our DNA and what's on our DNA as far as. Let me see. Yeah, I sent it to you. Steve? So there's 3 pictures I sent. Whenever you get
don't go away from that, Steve. Hang on. Go back to that. So the snake eating the tail. We all think that's in the meta. It's no bueno, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a cycle?
Yes,
just saying.
It
Feels
is
like a cycle of infinity to me.
Infinity cycle of reincarnation, because he don't want you to leave. He wants you to keep coming back. He wants you to fall into the soul trap, the moon matrix, and come right back here.
And it'll be there forever. In fact, I don't know if it's on this thread, but I saw one also. It was a meme, and the guy, whoever it was, he had just gotten out of Earth, and he's like, "Whoa." And Satan's sitting there, and Satan's like, "So what'd you think of hell?" And the guy goes, "I knew it." See?
That's what I would be saying. I knew it.
I knew it. I knew that's where I was.
Oh yeah, Delta Omicron media control.
There you go. Yeah.
You can't make this shit up, guys. They know
they can't.
When they code everything. Do you think they didn't know that it adds up to that?
Yeah, what a coincidence. There's a lot of freaking coincidences in this world.
Yeah, that shelf. We're gonna have to rebuild a whole new storage unit for
it's done, yeah. That thing broke a year ago. When I first met you, he had a coincidence shelf, and then it turned into a shed, and now it's a pile of. He's like a hoarder. There's so many now.
Yeah, we're a hoarder of coincidences.
The whole yard now, man.
Yeah. Your life is one big coincidence.
Got a yard sale of coincidences, man. Yeah, you looked at this long ago, Chen. This is Niagara Falls without water. Much bigger story than just water, it seems, you know.
Oh yeah, there's a lot going on at that is a rare photo to find, but yeah, it's definitely a building.
So yeah, I forget the history on it. Why was it stopped, and how was it stopped, and why? And how did
they just turned the valve off?
No, I mean, how does the real science explain it? Why there's no water on Niagara Falls? No,
I think they were just doing like a treatment, whatever, man.
So they have a way of shutting that off? I didn't know that. Okay.
They got a way of doing a lot of things.
Well, I know.
Drained a river near me, man.
That's weird.
It is.
And I agree with Austin in the chat. Symbols aren't evil, but they're a way for evil side to get their message across. But then God is in charge of it all, and it's a way for us to wake up and to hopefully show other people. So no, the symbols aren't evil. It's what you do with the information. You can use it as evil or good, in my opinion.
Yeah, but well, here's the thing. So I think before language, maybe in the golden age, there was only symbols. Okay. And this is why they've hijacked all the symbols. But see, in the golden age, right, we didn't have to use our mouths in this rudimentary language that we speak, because this is how lies form, through language. And so, when you can read people's minds, you can't lie to each other. Okay. And mostly it's pictures. It's not me talking in my head with the language, talking to Steve. It's pictures and moments and memories and things like that. And I think that this is why we've seen, even in Egyptian hieroglyphs, mostly pictures. There's no language. Because language.
You're talking exactly what I was talking about with Ezekiel. Exactly that.
And that's it.
God stopped him from talking because no one was listening to his mouth. And he just started doing those dioramas on the ground.
Yeah.
In pictures. And it's happening again. You're right.
Yeah. Because when you look at the Egyptian hieroglyphs, it tells you exactly what these things are. If you don't know how to read the symbols because you're trapped in language, you're not. This is the mystery schools where they keep all this hidden knowledge from us, and we think, the peace sign with the arms down means peace, and they're telling us it does, but it doesn't. It actually means death and ruin, Nero's cross, and all the broken cross and everything. Again, it's a deception. And when you're under a deception, they're winning. And, you have to love the truth. Truth is it destroys the lies. So here you go. I love this. God's signature on our DNA. And this is what they're trying to destroy.
I was going to say, it would make sense why there's an attack on the DNA of us, And it's not just us. I feel like eventually, they're gonna maybe not like force ducks and shit like that to get vaccines, but they'll be altered too.
Well, it's already happening. I told you there was a story yesterday that hippopotamuses have it now, and they're vaccinating them.
That's beautiful. Oh man, where are we, dude?
There's another one in Canada that said that deer have it. And of course, there's been in gorillas already, and so it's already happening.
Yeah, because they're the closest to us. Would make sense, Oh
yeah,
you gotta love the evolution lie. You gotta love how that lie is ever evolving.
Well, here, how about this? I was looking into something on my feed, and someone posted the question. It was I think it was on one of those Facebook things of a meme. Like the story of how dinosaurs ever even existed makes no sense because they can't copulate. Like it's impossible. Either they've got spikes and stuff or big tails or too heavy or too 20 arms or whatever. There's no way they could. Like, I know they did it in a museum lately. I think the Smithsonian did 2 dinosaurs doing it. But in reality, it really couldn't have happened. In science, when you look through it, they have no explanation. They just explain that maybe it happened really quick and someone was laying this way with the leg over that way. And it like none of it makes any sense. Yeah. So even if you want to believe in dinosaurs the way that they tell us, you can't because they couldn't have had sex. They just don't connect.
It's kind of like Mr. T. He can't have sex and make babies either.
I pity the fool.
Some
That's what she means.
People don't want to believe that Mr. T's are real women.
He means she doesn't mean that. She's talking about something else, I think, right, Steve?
No, I heard somebody say recently that Jaron from Jaronism doesn't believe.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
The whole Cameron thing, and I was like, funny. Man, that dude's really lost in the sauce. Why anybody watches that show anymore? I have no fucking clue. Because flat Earth is not the end all be all of everything. Yeah, it's flat. So what? Move on. Let's go. I mean, there's going to be people who still think they're on a spinning ball, but if you can't see man skin and fucking Adonis belt all over that thing, I don't know what to tell you. Keep jerking off to your fucking Cameron Diaz then.
There you go.
Sorry. Fucking people get on my nerves.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's fucking...
He can't even see the Mandela effect.
Actually awake and who's actually, real
truther out here. Because he's a baby truther.
Oh my goodness.
Give me a break. They need to leave the babies alone. Sorry.
No, that's why I never associate with him.
I never liked that guy. I'm just saying. I just never liked him. There was always something I didn't like about him, but that's just me. That's my personal preference. And then, he can't see all this other stuff. He's stuck on stupid.
He's just a whiny and complainer, but, to each their own, I guess. You
No,
know.
not Cameron Diaz. I love her ass. Well, you might be fucking gay. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
I'll just here's what I'll have to say to all of that. Once, especially through your investigations, and I'm treading lightly because we're on Steve's channel, but because of your investigations and a few other people, I think it was a Horrified House guest that's really interesting on Twitter. But because of that, there's no way you can unconvince me that there is something weird there with Cameron Diaz. His name, I mean, Cameron, it's a boy's name, but in any case, you can look at plenty of things, and I don't know how you get away from Adonis belt. Provably so now, because mostly of Jen and her research, women can't get it, period, end of story. So if you see it or anything close to it, I don't know. So if you're awake to everything in the world, but yet you still think that's a really hot lady, then I don't know. That's all I have to say with that. Like, okay, moving on, because I don't know how you don't see it. It's like the people we talk to that don't see the things we discuss about all these other topics, and we say, well, it's because God won't let them. Well, if you can't see that, I don't know what to say. That's what I'll say.
Agreed.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, the deception runs deep. You know, you can't fault them at that. But once there's proof that of the deception, you know, it's like, all right, you know.
I'll give you a perfect example.
On, you know,
when I was at Trump Tard, and they were talking about this thing that's in the news now again, Epstein and his plane log and all that, and people are like, well, Trump was on it. And they're like, no, he was only on it one time. He didn't have sex with any young men. Yeah, he just was getting a flight here to there. And I believed it, right? Because that's what they fed us, because I was into the guy at the time. Well, now when I look at it, it's laughable, right? It's totally laughable. There's so many signs over the years that I saw that I dismissed. One time Trump, he blasphemed God or something in the thing. And another time he read a poem about being a snake and stuff. And it's like, we just wrote it all off. And every time he did his hand things, we just said, oh, well, he's just mocking the elites and all that. No,
I am a
we
snake.
just wrote it all off.
What is wrong with this guy?
And so it's the same thing again. If you know something you can't explain, like a Mandela effect, and you write it off, well, you're no different than the deception that I felt I was in back when I was a Q Tard and a Trump Tard and all that. You got to wake up out of it. And if you don't, well, then I'm not sure what you're researching, or maybe you're doing it on purpose. But you can't go back, right? You can't be that cipher and eat the fake steak. It doesn't work that way. Once you realize the steak is fake, it's gone. You can't pretend it's there.
Yeah.
Just like you can't flip-flop on the Mandela effect. You can't just say it's not there anymore. It didn't go away. You did. Why? Because you want to pretend that you live in a different world? Well, good luck with that. It's still going to happen to you, like an ostrich in the head in the sand. The world still will go around. Does that even happen? Maybe that's no longer a thing. Mandela effect. Do they do that anymore? I should look that up. Back to you, Steve.
It's all good, man.
Satellite trekking continues.
I'm off on my own show, and he's showing these pictures. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just showing
fired
pictures,
up today.
man. I like it. I like the energy we all got going right now. I was gonna share some more pictures, but I don't quite know how to get there. So let me back out of here for a minute. Fake steak. Yeah, sounds good too. Hold on, photos. There we go.
And ostriches apparently still do put their head in the sand. So, just so you know. I just wanted to check that.
Oh, I think Adam ate Eve's apple. Eve didn't eat Adam's apple.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Oh my God, that's funny. That's funny. Put that one on the screen, Steve. That's funny.
No, he said, y'all heard my joke about what happens when Eve ate Adam's apple.
That's funny. Dr. Bass Ackwards. Wait a minute.
Dr. Bass Ackwards, right? Now, what should we look at? I got a bunch of stuff we can look at, just some old pictures. You know,
there's something about Mary. That's funny too. Sorry.
No,
did you read that one, Steve?
No, I didn't.
He said there's something about Mary.
I bet. There's something about Melinda too.
Oh, jeez. See, regardless of what you think of the picture of the person on the right without looking at their feet, those two people are not the same person. I don't care. Age does not do that to you.
Yeah, no, what happened to her nose? His nose is completely different.
Do Chuck Schumer's wife now. Do Chuck Schumer's wife. Come on, put her up there. I want to see you guys, if you haven't seen her.
Chuck Schumer's wife.
Just type in Chuck Schumer's wife. It's great. It's one of my favorites. It's the one it's my go-to person that I go to. And I say person. There you go, Chuck Schumer's wife. Okay, what do you got?
Popped up his Wi-Fi at first. Like what?
Not his Wi-Fi password.
Who's that? Uncle Remus?
That's his wife. Just saying.
He looks like a dude named Carl.
You gotta want to look at the feet. I don't even know. Do you have to? That's his wife. So I'm not trying to beauty shame. I apologize if somebody thinks I'm beauty shaming, but look at the one with the flag. Go to the left where the flag is.
Where's the flag?
Go down a little bit. Go down, slower down there. I saw it. Oh, maybe you went to go up. There it is. The one with the flag. Oh, come on. Yeah, just say. Anyways, how'd we get onto this? I thought we were doing buildings.
I don't know. You guys were lost in the sauce, man.
Oh, shoot.
Am I still screen sharing? Yeah. Let's see what we got. I got some cool shit on
So
here.
I'm going to send you something real quick, Steve. And Ceiling Fan, you'll remember this. I don't know if Steve will. But do you remember a show back in the 70s and 80s called Maude?
Yes. With Beecher's Arthur.
Right.
Ding, ding, ding. Do I win?
Okay, well, this is Princess Maude of whatever it says there on the bottom, right? Maude. Princess Maude.
Modified.
Modified, yeah, he looks like a man. Okay, and I'm just saying, and then you had Maude, the show, which if you bring up Maude, whatever that lady's name was that you just said, Ceiling Fan Man,
Beatrice.
I always knew there was something wrong with that person, and his voice was always weird and scratchy and loud. Remember, Maude had a really strange voice.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
Yeah, most people don't know.
No, Steve, type this in. You ready? MAUD.
Oh.
You're pulling up the wrong
Maude
show.
TV show.
Mod Squad, that was a cool show too, though. There she is.
This is a man. And when you hear this person talk on the show that they used to be on, it's a man voice. You could tell that it's being, altered in some way, forced in some way. This person always bothered me even when I was younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Nice.
Princess Maude.
This show's all over the place,
As far as we get, come on.
And I think Maude actually came from Mary Tyler Moore. A lot of shows came out of that. I have a lot of stupid information if you guys need that.
Oh gosh, Mary Tyler Moore. God,
yeah, and that's where you got Rhoda, and that's where you got Maude.
Rhoda. I used to watch Rhoda.
Yep. Well, that was when you were trying to show that the breakup of society was okay, and it was good to be a single, divorced woman on your own and have your own career and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Breaking up the family.
Yeah, because Mary was also the same way. She had
the natural order of things. They want the natural order of things to go out the window.
And she worked for Lou Grant, who I think is a Nephilim because he has hair all over him. Anyways, what are we doing here? Buildings.
What? What's that?
Was that a railroad track?
Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
Oh, and Good Times came out of Maude. Juan Torres says. Look at that one. That looks, I don't know. Or maybe those look okay. Those actually look about the same size. All right.
What I don't understand is why the 9 has to be so big. You know what I mean? Like, why does the 9 have to be oversized compared to everything else?
I don't understand why this is here, but
Yeah, that's the sun god Ra from Egypt. I mean, come
I know
on.
who it is. He's right
What
here.
the F, bro?
Right here.
That was funny.
Forget
I know
about
who it
Egypt
is.
and the
Why is
Grand
it-
Canyon. It's all over every city.
And isn't like what? Let's see, 4 and 2 1s is 6. So there's 2 6s on the building, I guess. There's probably
There's
another
a
one.
third one lurking around somewhere. You know it.
Ooh, and look at that. That looks. Wait, go back. It looks like the eye of horse right on the pyramid on the top of the building.
Oh, yeah. That's what we were just showing with the O and the Omni and the Delta.
Yeah. Nothing to see there. Just something looking at you.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah. Why? We just want to build half windows. or
Steve,
whatever.
is this near that place you went last year where there was all that water around that building and it went underneath?
No, I wish that was another good spot.
Because Ray had pictures of some place that looked just like that place that you were showing that time.
Oh, New England looks like that place.
Wow.
Yeah, there's the clock tower.
Interesting. Copper.
Absolutely.
So I was watching Brave New World again for educational purposes. There are 3 rules in the Brave New World. No privacy, no family, and no monogamy. There are 3 rules in the Brave New World show. No privacy, meaning you can never be offline because your technology is within you, right? You have to always be on the feed and everybody can be able to see what you're doing and you can see what they're doing. No family. They grow their babies. And there's no unscheduled, babies or anything. Everything's modified and all that crap. Nobody has babies. They make babies. And then, no monogamy. Everybody is, everybody's. There's no couples or anything.
There's a 4th one you're forgetting. No bueno.
No bueno. No good. Hey, Jeremy, you're welcome. Love you.
I just can't get over this, man-made canal. They call it.
Oh, yeah. All day long, man-made. Who the heck is making that stuff? Does anybody even comprehend the level of work that would have to go into this?
Well, again, it's like they don't even question the building, let alone the canal that's next to it.
Look at the windows down the bottom. They're in the ground, like all the way, more than 3/4 of the window is in the ground.
Yeah. and the thing about this is, let me go back a couple pictures. If you could see like all of this here, it just dips down, into this valley, and that's on the other side of the river, which would be behind this factory complex. You can see here, like everything dips down, like all the way. And this is on the far side of the road where we were looking at those unused or the beat up tracks. And this continues all the way throughout the woods. And just another example of the building on the hill there.
Yeah, this goes way down underneath.
Oh, yeah. And interconnections, more of the pyramid, A-frame.
And I'd just like to mention
from here as well. Something should be there, but it ain't. But what's up? You want to mention?
I'd just like to mention that, a lot of people may not be into the whole Mr. T investigation thing and maybe don't find it interesting or don't even want to go there. But it is a huge piece to the puzzle that we're putting together here. And you need to understand the deception that we've been under for quite some time. When you expose this deception, you start to realize the damage that this has done to the family unit, the damage it has done to couples. You have a man sitting on a couch next to his wife who, has, curves and stuff, had a couple of babies, looking at Cameron or whoever on screen thinking, why doesn't my wife look like that? Well, your wife's never going to look like that, and then they're trying to, they're attracted to the wrong thing. There's a distortion in the male attraction for women. And then women, damage themselves trying to look like these people, which they don't have male DNA, so they're never going to look like that. They starve themselves. Bulimia, anorexia has run wild. They put these abominations all over the covers of magazines, so women can try to emulate them, which they can't, and that's envy. Then you have men lusting after them. All this stuff brings in confusion. Lucifer's the father of lies and confusion. It's very important.
Well, yeah, and it's again a mockery of God, because we've discussed it. If we come from God, there's a male and female essence within God, and so Satan's mocking it by making us not two pieces to the same puzzle, but we can be ourselves, our own God, and we can. Doesn't matter if you're a man, become a woman. If you're a woman, become a man, and they're mixing everything up to make it more about, choose to be what you want to be, rather than the actuality of that. If you have the two components to make creation, the male and female essence, that's how you get it. So to confuse it all, and then to confuse a whole new generation of children, because again, they're not really going after us. They're going after our kids and our children, our grandchildren, so that they grow up in a society that it doesn't matter if it's a man playing a woman's part, or if you find out that you have had masturbated to a man, think it was a woman. It doesn't matter anymore. Love is everything. And every freaking show I try to watch, they press it into immediately. The two main characters are immediately involved in each other, whether they're two women or two men. And it's just it's obvious deception and putting it in our faces. And I shouldn't be watching any of it, because no matter what you watch, 5 minutes in, we're watching a cute show about a kid that ends up with a grandfather or an uncle, and it was a cute show. But he comes in, he's wearing an Illuminati coat all over. It's right in your face. It doesn't matter what you watch.
Yeah, and it started with Mark. It started with the rock bands as well. I remember the tight leather pants, the big hair, and all the makeup. I used to have Bret Michaels plastered all over my wall. I love the band Poison and stuff. But these people wore more makeup than I did and stuff. And it's just you could see that, because I was.
But they started before that, Jen, because in the 60s you got people like Keith. No, what's that guy? Roger Daltrey in the skin tight pants with no shirt and the long hair, and then it evolved into what you're talking about. Let's go full on makeup.
I was young. I found them attractive. I thought Bret Michaels was the hottest thing walking on earth when I was 13, 14 years old. You don't even understand.
They called it glam rock, of all things. Glam rock.
I mean, so it starts with the kids. It gets you into that mindset of seeing these things as being attractive, and then looking back at yourself and wondering, as a woman, I would look at these people, the female people, or even say Cher, for instance. See her, Cher, CHER. They want you to see her, not see him.
Exactly.
And then she does an entire video showing her butt and gets famous for it, because it's another mockery. All these guys are lusting after a man and they don't know it. It's
now
fantastic.
You see God's butt all over that painting. Now his butt's hanging out, even in the Bible. It's all a mockery, and you need to understand.
How about the anthem we had in the 80s? Twisted Sister. We're not going to take it. They played that thing everywhere, but the video is a bunch of dudes in drag.
In drag, yes, exactly. And I have to take a look at myself and the things that I thought were cool, and even if you look up the word cool. Because we call things cool, that has a negative connotation too. That's not good to say things are cool or you're cool or whatever like that. It's actually like evil or something.
Well, like someone says, "How are you?" If you say "I'm well," you probably shouldn't say that. It's just another way of saying "I'm hell."
Yeah.
So and it does.
Even hello, we were taught hello.
My son picked that up a long time ago, and he always started saying "Heaven oh" when he answers the phone. He says "Heaven oh."
Nice.
But what about good morning? What exactly are we mourning?
Right.
And what does that even mean? Morning is actually the morning star. Who's that? Right. So
we've never questioned.
I've been saying
things.
Good day. Good day to you. That's about it.
And Austin always brought up recently about curing cancer. We need to cure this and cure that. Well, when you cure something, you're saving it. You're kind of like you cure meat and stuff. to save it.
Yeah, and Madame Curie, let's go into that. There was a news article just the other day when her husband had some kind of like, I don't know, affair he had, and she was destitute. Albert Einstein was walking on the beach giving her a cheer up. I'm thinking, okay, 2 made up characters in history are now in my news feed.
Don't you love it, man? But like I like to tell people is, don't it's hard to see all this deception, and if you've never really looked into it, but once you realize, or you come to that point where you have to make that decision, it's like, whoa, is all this like for real, man? Like, yeah. And if you think about it, Lucifer, Satan, whatever, he deceived 1/3 of the angels. Don't think he can't deceive you. Those guys had training. They witnessed creation, and they still chose against the will of God. So don't think that he can make you do the same, whether you want to admit that or not. It's what he's really good at. But
can I share something real quick?
You can. I'm gonna start wrapping this up in like 5 minutes.
Oh, sure.
Cool. So yeah.
Can we be deceived? There's an entire group of people still to this day think that this is one of the smartest men in the world.
I can't stand that.
And even the fact that if you believe in this lie, that he talks through a machine that somehow feels his thoughts and comes out to words, and yet they've never produced this for like the rest of the population. We only did it for like this dude and a guy in Star Trek, right? Isn't this what they did in Star Trek? Captain Pike.
It's just funny too, because like there's like 7 different versions of this guy.
Oh yeah, none of them look the same because of his quote disease. But the fact that the entire populace of people listen to what this gentleman says, you have no idea who's telling you what he's saying. Just because someone told, what a stupid magician trick. And he goes, what did he say? Oh, he said this. You know what I mean? You have no idea.
And then everyone's like, ooh, ah.
So now we're going to think that we can't be deceived by Satan, the one that was able to take angels sitting next to God and going, hey, I got something better going on. You want to come with me? And they're like, yeah, that guy, you don't think he can't deceive a population that believes in this? Well,
what were you saying? What were you saying early on about being, you can't go in if you're crippled, not crippled, but if you have a disability or something earlier you were saying
you have to be clean because some reason you weren't able to go in.
Yeah. Right. So this thing is sitting, in his whole distorted way, right? Like imperfection or so I don't know what his problem is, whatever. I'm just saying that the world hangs on every word this guy says, and he's all like distorted and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
It's Discord. It's just another method of their madness and why they do it. It's very it's nefarious, and it's working. It's worked forever. I don't think it's working to the scale it was before. But I mean, on the masses, of course it is. But I mean, the people who are seeing stuff for what it is, I mean, we're starting to see more and more every single day, and that's pretty exponential, and I'm not surprised with the stuff we see. I see stuff every day, and I'm like, oh, I'm not surprised that happened, and everyone else would be like, wow, that's the craziest shit that's ever happened. But like you were saying, Ceiling Fan, maybe it's not luck,
Yeah.
And I have a story for you real quick before we get off
for it. I want to hear.
I had the other day, this dude, he's going through a real tough situation in court with doctors over his son. He wasn't seen properly or dealt with properly. They basically killed him. So he was going through court the other day, and it was just like the most grueling experience. He said there's going to be another court date, but he said once he got out of the courthouse, he saw a cardinal, and it made him feel better, like a little bird. And I was like, did you ever feel that before? He's like, oh, I love when the birds come down. I was like, there you go. And he's got no idea about anything. I just thought that was very interesting.
No, totally. Of course, I feel about birds.
You're the bird man out here.
Yeah. And in fact, my dad's on board with it too. Oh, by the way, if you guys,
not to be
real quick. My dad's in the hospital again. If you guys could say a prayer for him.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. We'll definitely.
But yeah.
We'll definitely.
Anyways, keep going, Stephen.
Well, no, just another fun fact. My father, for no apparent reason, for like an 8-year span, he did nothing but like Like he bought books on birds, studied birds, watched birds. Yeah, I'm like this fucking. Then you tell me this, I'm like, oh, okay, now I see what he's saying.
Well, I was talking to my dad about it, and then like he was finding crow feathers on his doorstep, like a single feather on his doorstep. And he called me up and like, what did you do to me? I go, I didn't do anything. I just told you to start looking. And then they decided to like amp it up for him. And so, yeah, so then he got to the point, well, like I say, just went to the hospital, but just before that, he texted me because there's some kind of, he's on one of those, like, I guess, next door neighborhood kind of things.
Yeah.
And somebody was complaining because, which by the way, we need to talk about if no one has on another show, the amount of crows that are being seen now is unheard of.
Me too.
Any live stream you watch, you hear them, you see them, they're everywhere. And
they're always out front of my house across the street. It's the same spot every day.
So people were complaining about it. And my dad writes, because of what I've done to him, I guess, that I think, like my son has taught me, that crows are angels and maybe they're there to protect you or watch over you and things like that. And like he got some love, but other people were like, you're out of your mind. You know what I mean? It's just like, because think about it. When people think about crows and ravens, the media and the movies and the TV teach us they're evil and bringers of death and destruction. And yet there's a couple times that, well, first of all, has a crow ever done anything bad to anyone in this chat? Probably not. We have them out here. They chase away the eagles and the hawks that would eat my chickens. And when we had corn, they didn't mess with it. And if they did, they didn't take enough where I cared. So no, I've never seen anything evil other than on movies and TVs. And so maybe there's so many crows because God's angels are being more visible right now.
100%, man.
Yep. And Jesus says, come to know what is in front of you, and that which is hidden from you will become clear. For there is nothing hidden that will not become manifest.
Exactly. And something that I've been saying and hearing a lot lately is the truth will reveal itself. You know, we just have to let it play out, whether people believe it at that point for the truth, whether the truth is just unfathomable and been shown as a deception. That's not our problem. Our problem is getting the truth out, and I feel like we're doing a great job with that. But
and my wife just sent me this, Luke 12:56. Hypocrites, you know how to interpret the appearance of the earth and the sky. How is that you don't know how to interpret this present time? So there.
And there it is. I like that. Baby. And with that being said, I think we're just going to wrap this up, guys. It's been we went an hour and a half, so that's not bad at all. But yeah, everyone in the chat, just want to say, don't have any fear, no matter what situation you may be in. It's we're all here for a reason, to experience it. Maybe we are here to experience a little bit of fear, but overcome that. Take a breath and say you can't even speak. It's something that crazy, like something goes down. Just think about Jesus, just think his name, and it works out. So that being said, you have anything you want to say to the chat before we left? We did collectively, we had 125 at one point on Facebook and the 2 YouTube channels. So I think there's about 90 in here now, 97 on the main channel. So shout out to you guys. You guys are the best. And I don't know about you guys, but they're the coal that keeps the Steve J and Mo train rolling. So shout out to the chat. And if you guys would like to make donations, which a couple people have, so shout out to you guys. PayPal link is in the chat and it's pinned, and I'll just leave it here. And if you guys have closing thoughts, Jen, you can go first.
Let it not be said that we stood by and did nothing. I love you guys.
100%.
Follow me on Rockfin. I'm on Rockfin now.
Boom, baby. We love it. And Ceiling Fan, what you got?
Well, I'm going to be live with Brian on his channel. One of these. At like 5 o'clock?
Yeah, in about 3 hours. So
something like that. You
got time to, get back in your zen.
But that'll be a cool one. We're going to go over Mandela effect and interested to talk to these 2 people I haven't talked to. So it'll be a fun show. And
good stuff, man.
Like you say, we're in for some interesting times and potentially even more interesting times. And so just everyone, armor up. Find your spiritual path and be prepared. So that's all I have to say. Thanks for having me. I love talking to you too.
I love it, man. No, I thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys. And everyone in the chat, thank you so much. We're going to get on out of here. Please like, share, and subscribe all around the platforms. And we will be back before you know it.